What's going on, YouTube fam? So today we are going to be talking about flexible dieting and clean eating. This is actually the fourth episode in my macros and flexible dieting series. If you haven't watched the first three videos, go back and watch those first, and then you can join us for this one. So in this video, I'm basically just going to talk about flexible dieting, what that is, and then clean eating, what that is, and the benefits of flexible dieting and why that is my preferred method that I use for myself and for my clients. So with flexible dieting, basically you get a daily macro allowance, meaning you're tracking your proteins, carbs, and fats, and as long as you hit your micronutrients and your fiber intake, you can choose to get those macronutrients from any source that you would like. There are no good foods, no bad foods, no off-limit foods. You can literally fill your macros with whatever you would like as long as you're hitting your micronutrient requirements every single day. Now with clean eating, typically it's lots of lean meats, veggies, brown rice, and sweet potato. I mean, the list of foods is probably 10 or less maybe. Almonds is usually on there, sometimes even nut butter, but it's a very limited amount of food, or food choices, I should say. So that right there just kind of like throws up a red flag for me, just because I think the more restricted you are, our nature is to kind of like go against, what we're supposed to be doing. Even from being a kid, you want to rebel. And so I think the more restricted you are, the more you want those things that you're now being restricted from. I know for me, whenever I first started clean eating, it wasn't a problem because it was like a new thing. And then all of a sudden it was like, I had all these cravings for junk food and bad, not bad, but I had all these cravings for junk food and fast food restaurants, and I normally never would have even wanted those foods. I liked to eat what I thought was healthy. Of course, I didn't know much back then. But because I was so restricted from so many different food choices, I started craving things that I normally never would have even craved or wanted. So in my opinion, less restriction is better. I want to address something that I've heard multiple times, and it's macros don't work for me, clean eating does, or macros don't work for me, meal plans do. And I think that comes based off of the misconception that with flexible dieting, you have to eat all of these flexible foods, or that you have to eat processed foods, or that you have to eat ice cream every night like I do. You know what? If you don't like ice cream, you don't have to eat it. I personally love ice cream, and I will eat it every night until the day that I die. The great thing about flexible dieting is that it's completely individualized. So if you don't like something, it's simple, don't eat it. And if you feel better and like eating lean meats and sweet potato and brown rice, then by all means, fill your daily macro intake with those foods. You can absolutely still eat what people refer to as clean foods. You can still eat that way on a meal plan. But now when you're tracking your macros, let's say that you need to cut for an upcoming photo shoot or a show, you know exactly what to do. You can say, oh, I'll lower my fats a little bit, or my fats are good, I'm going to lower my carbs, or hey, I'll carb cycle. Instead of just guessing and saying, you know what, I'm going to stay away from beef. Well, it's not that the beef is magical or bad or hurting you. It's that the beef is a lot higher in fat than, say, a fish or something. So it's not that any food is magical. It's that it has a different macronutrient intake. So in my opinion, I'm very much a realist. I kind of see it as, why don't you just track it so you know exactly how much you need to decrease to make the changes that you want to make. That's just kind of my opinion on it. So whether you're following flexible dieting, counting your macros, or you're following a clean eating meal plan, you're eating a certain number of macros every single day. Now, I can't tell you that it's consistent every single day, because some meal plans that I've seen are absolutely ridiculous. And it's like, you can have Greek yogurt, or you can have some fruit. And that's like completely different macronutrient ratios. So whether you know it or not, you're eating a certain number of proteins, carbs, and fats every single day. So in my opinion, why not track it? Another reason why people like meal plans is because they like to just brainlessly follow something. They don't want to have to think about anything or track it or, worry about tracking their macros every day. They just want to brainlessly follow something. Now, if you're in the situation where it's because of, work or school or just your schedule in general, you don't like having to think about those things, use your macros, go on MyFitnessPal, take the time and write out a meal plan for yourself. Write out 3 meal plans for yourself, and maybe you follow one for 1 week, one the next week, and one the next week. Or you switch it up, one meal plan for 2 days, the next meal plan for 2 days. That way you're still getting to change up your foods and you're eating foods you enjoy, but you're also tracking your macros. So I think a lot of people think that it's either flexible dieting or meal plan or clean eating, and that you can't have all of them, but you can. So since you're eating macros, since you're eating proteins, carbs, and fats every day, might as well track them, might as well make it count, and if you need to make a meal plan for yourself, do it. So I like flexible dieting because there are no off-limit foods. There are no good or bad foods. And then it also teaches you that there are no magical foods. Like I said, I eat my gooey protein pancakes every single morning. I eat my protein ice cream every single night. Those are 2 recipe videos that have been added to my YouTube channel, so make sure and check out those videos. But I eat that every single night. I have Cinnamon Toast Crunch cereal as a topping in my protein ice cream. And those are, I think, those 3 things, the protein ice cream, the cereal that goes in it, and then the protein pancake, those are things that I will always fit into my macros. Like, I love those things. And, some people think, like, whenever I talk about my diet, they're like, do you really eat that every single night? I'm like, do you even follow my Snapchat? But really, I eat that stuff every single night, and it's not to brag, it's what I enjoy to eat, so that's why I'm gonna eat it. And the rest of the day, I'm eating like chicken, and I have a brown rice and quinoa mix and some hummus avocado. Those have been like my staples. My staple meals in between kind of change. I get like on these little kicks where I like one certain food and I eat the crap out of it forever. And then I like find a new favorite food that's my staple for then. So maybe I'll have to make a favorites video or something. Let me know if you guys want me to do that, like my favorite food at that time or my favorite staples at that time. But I can tell you the pancakes and ice cream will never go away. Again, branching off of the no good or bad foods, the reason why I don't like to call meals cheat meals is because growing up, all of us have been taught that cheating is bad. So whenever you go out and have a cheat meal, how are you not going to feel guilty? Because you feel like you're cheating. I don't know too many people that go out and have a cheat meal and are just like, no regrets. People might say that, but I think some part of you always kind of feels a little like, oh, I'm cheating, I shouldn't be doing this. That's why I call those meals untracked meals, because your body can actually benefit from certain untracked meals, especially if you're in a deficit or you're dieting and you need to restore those leptin levels. But if you're just going and saying, oh, I'm gonna have a cheat meal, a lot of the time that turns into a cheat day or a cheat binge for some people, and then it's just like, it kind of sends them overboard. So I prefer to call it an untracked meal, and those things are planned out. It's not really like, oh, oops, I'm not gonna track my macros, untracked meal. Like, those are planned out in advance and they can benefit you, but you have to do them the right way. So one reason why I actually don't have too many untracked meals is because my diet is so flexible that I don't really crave anything ever. Now, of course, I love myself a good burger, and sometimes I want to go have a burger, but at least right now, my macros are still so high, I can fit that into my daily allowance if I plan it ahead of time. So if I know that I want to go get Habit Burger, which is my favorite, then I will just track it ahead of time and plan all of my other meals for the day around that one meal. Now, with that said, if I just mentally feel like I need an untracked meal, then again, it'll be completely planned out, and I'll say, I'm feeling like I need an untracked meal, like I need it now, but you know what, I know it's better to plan. I'll plan it for Friday night, and that'll be my motivation all week to stay really on point with my macros so I can earn that untracked meal, have the untracked meal, kind of mentally just get over it, and then the next morning, I'm right back to my macros. And that's what's great about flexible dieting too, is it's not like you go out, like if you're clean eating and you go out and you eat a burger and fries and ice cream, chances are you're kind of like, oh, well, I already screwed up, I might as well keep going, and so then you kind of eat this and that and snack at this and that. But if you're flexible dieting and you go out and you say, okay, I'm gonna have a full meal and a dessert, and I'm going to portion it correctly, meaning you're not gonna overstuff yourself, because there's really no reason to. And with flexible dieting, you've learned portion control. So even if you're not tracking, I always like to stay mindful. One, I don't like to stuff myself, like overly stuff myself. And two, I just always stay mindful of my portion sizes and what I'm eating. So for example, if I'm eating a burger and fries and I know I'm having a great dessert afterwards, I might eat the burger usually I'll eat like half the burger with both the buns, and then I'll say that's delicious, but I want to save some of these carbs for that ice cream, even though I technically don't have to because it's untracked. But I just know like it's not that worth it to me to eat both of the buns. So I'll like rip the buns off, finish the burger, eat some fries. Sometimes I'll finish, sometimes I won't, and then eat my dessert and feel great because I know that I didn't need all of those carbs from the bun. Sounds so dumb, but I'm telling you, that's just like what works for me and how I look at things. Another reason why I really prefer flexible dieting for me and for my clients is because simply it's a maintainable way of living. So when you start macro tracking and doing flexible dieting and fitting in foods that you love while still eating for your health benefits, you learn to eat a certain way. So for me, it's not a diet. I'm not dieting. People ask me, oh my gosh, are you dieting? And I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm following my diet, but it doesn't feel like a diet. It's the way that I eat. So, and I think that's the most important aspect for me is that it became the way that I ate. And now it's just the way that I eat. That's what I eat. And I love hearing that from my clients when they're like, I don't even feel like I'm dieting. That's when you know you're doing it right. Now, I'm not gonna like put out false information. If you're in a bikini prep and you're in a very large deficit, you are gonna feel like you're dieting, whether you're doing flexible dieting, clean eating, meal plan, no matter what you're doing, keto, you're gonna feel like you're dieting because bikini prep and competition is completely different than just a normal lifestyle or, wanting to just lean out a little bit for a normal lifestyle type of client. Generally with flexible dieting, it is slow, progressive progress, and that is what I prefer because it's maintainable. With clean eating, it's generally very drastic results quickly because you go from eating whatever you were eating before to when it comes down to it, just different macronutrient intake, but generally very low fat, very low carb. So of course you're gonna see amazing results fast, like your body's basically starving. And the problem with that is that people who clean eat and have that list of foods that they're allowed to eat and everything else they're not allowed to eat is that I find with my clients a lot of the time that those clients are either 100% on their program and perfect or 100% off of their program and sometimes binging and just not able, they don't know how to eat. They don't know how to choose food or put meals together because they so badly want to eat normal and eat just like a regular meal, but they don't know how. Flexible dieting gives you the knowledge and the tools to know how to do that. So I'll take any meal that I love, like a quesadilla, and I'll make it macro friendly, or French toast. I'll make protein French toast and make it macro friendly. A pizza, I'll make it macro friendly. So all these different, everything that you learn from macros just makes dieting life so much better. And I did get a question that I wanted to address, and someone asked, I see a lot of flexible dieters in their bikini prep, and near the end, they're eating the same foods as someone that is on a clean eating regimen or a meal plan. Why is that? And do you think that a clean eating meal plan would work better for me as a beginner? The reason for that is simply their macronutrient intake is so low that they can't really fit too many fun foods into their daily intake. So it's more beneficial for them to eat foods that are more filling, like veggies, and like, for example, my cauliflower mash, I call it a volume eating meal, or spaghetti squash, that's a volume meal, something that is lower in calories and higher in like nutrients, or just higher in the amount of food that you get to eat. So for example, they would be able to eat a massive salad, meaning like tons of lettuce, maybe a bunch of bell peppers and chicken and cucumber. That would make them feel so full. But if they tried to make a quesadilla, it would take up too many of their macros and they wouldn't be full or satisfied from it. So a lot of that for the bikini prep competitors is just trying to make them feel satisfied during their bikini prep and feel full, or full as we call it, because we all know bikini prep clients, we don't get full during prep. And then as a beginner, do you think macros or clean eating would work better for me? And I always say the diet that is going to work for you is the diet that you're going to follow and maintain. Lane Norton actually just posted about a study. It was something like 95% of mass weight loss clients after 3 years have put that weight back on, or a certain amount of that weight back on. Don't quote me, that is not a quote. It was just something that I read on his Twitter. If you don't follow him, you should follow him. He's actually really funny when he goes off on his rants. But he provides a lot of really good information, lots of really great articles on his website. I know in my previous videos I mentioned something about him. Just go to his website. His name is Dr. Lane Norton, and he has really great informational articles. So a lot of people are like, how can I learn more about this? You know, and they'll either just ask me question, which I don't mind answering questions, but also take into account that me and anyone else that you see doing macros, we've definitely taken time to educate ourselves. And it would be a good idea for you to, yes, reach out, because it's good to get someone's opinion on something, but also to do research for yourself, because the more that you learn, the more you're going to be equipped with the knowledge that you need to make changes in your own diet, in your own life, and just make you feel more confident about your choices. Again, I don't know if I covered this, but I wanted to cover it really quickly. The misconception that if you're flexible dieting, you have to eat Pop-Tarts, ice cream, or processed foods, and you just don't feel good eating that way. Like I said before, you do not have to eat any of that stuff if you're flexible dieting. You can flexible diet with only lean meat and veggies and sweet potato if that makes your heart happy. At the end of the day, whatever makes you happy, whatever you feel your best on, that is what you should eat. So I hope this video is helpful for you guys. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you did find it helpful. That actually helps me out a lot, so I appreciate it. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. If you have any future suggestions on macro and flexible dieting videos, comment those below, and I will see you for another episode sometime soon. Bye!